Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for crossing over 100,000 subscribers. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and we're here at a special time this week for a woman's prerogative. So thank you for joining us on the live or on the replay. Our topic tonight is something that's really going to be fun. And if you ever watch our show before, you know Mariska and I have a lot of fun on the show. We're going to be talking about things that we create that bring us joy. We're going to focus on happiness and how can we elevate our mood. I know today it's pouring rain. It seems like the end of the world is coming. And so I just keep smiling because I love what I'm doing. And I hope that there's something that you really love that brings you joy. So Woman's Prerogative on E360 TV, as well as all of our platforms. I think we're on at least 30 before the distributors are added in. So thank you for following, subscribing, and watching. Let's bring out the star of our show. Her name is Mariska Du Preez, and she was formerly in New Zealand, but now she's in Australia. And she helps leaders. She helps people all across the world with her extensive amount of experience and certifications. Let's bring her out and find out what she's been up to. Hello and welcome.
Hello, and it is so nice to be here, as always.
Well, thank you for your flexibility. You know, we're normally not here on this day and this time, but we had something going on and I wasn't able to broadcast, so I appreciate your flexibility and wouldn't want to miss it because we always have a terrific time together.
We do, and I am very happy that we were able to find a different time slot that works for both of us.
As am I. And, you know, before we get into the subject, the topic, I just feel like working with you and being friends with you and brainstorming with you, that brings me joy. And it's 6 years strong and we're still going.
Well, that is a very good thing, because if we didn't enjoy it as much, I think it might have been a little bit less. So yes, Dr. Jacalyn, I am with you on that one. And we have done quite a few different projects together.
Yes, we have. We really have. And it's interesting. I'm sure we'll be doing more together. You know, you meet people and we've never met in person. I'm hopeful that we will one day. We've never met in person, but through technology, being able to see each other, we have developed a really good friendship and a really good working partnership. And I just encourage people, you know, people are so set sometimes in, oh, we've got to get back to an office or we've got to get back to face-to-face. I agree. It's good to have the face-to-face, but you can build a great relationship virtually as well. And that cuts down a lot on travel expenses, long distance phone calls, et cetera, et cetera. So Mariska, tell us what you are up to and how you are helping change this world.
So for those that have not met me before, I'm working within the leadership development space, and I help people like you that wants to either step into leadership or are already in leadership and want to elevate their leadership to a next level. So that's the space in which I work, which I really, really enjoy. And I cannot wait for our topic today because, well, there's so much that we can do within that space. And being creative and getting more joy out of it. So that's what I normally do. And we do it through leadership development. We do it through coaching. And of course, We will give you some contact information a little bit later in the show, or alternatively, you can just look at the bottom and then get it now. Up to you. And other than that, Dr. Jacalyn, I really want to get into this topic. So let's get the show started.
Let's do it. So I was just having a chat with someone. I've been out of corporate since 2020, and I really am grateful for all of the experience that I have, because it's hard to believe a lot of the things that you pick up along the way, you don't really know when you're going to be using them. And I feel like I'm using almost everything that I learned along the way, but I would never want to go back. I would never, ever want to go back, because now I am literally creating things all the time. And that brings me so much joy, because I never thought I was a creative person at all. I thought I had zero creativity skills whatsoever. How about you? When you think of yourself, do you think of you as being a creative person?
I think I do. I think for me, so creativity is really, it's a part of beingness. And one of the things that I believe is that everybody on this planet, I don't care who you are, everybody on this planet is creative, because guess what? You are creating your life. Oh, what a concept. And that's what we are doing. We are all doing that every single day. We have come into this world and we are creating constantly. So if somebody comes to me and they're like, oh, I'm not really creative, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you're just looking at it from a different point of view than I am, because I think you are a very creative person. You have created a whole life with things in it that I would never have thought of creating. So of course you are a creative person. It might look a little bit different than somebody else's way of creating. It might have more straight lines in it and less curvy lines in it potentially, or more curvy lines and less straight ones. Who knows? We are all continuously creating. So yes, Dr. Jacalyn, I have thought of myself as a creative person, and I also see everybody else that way. So I might be a little bit biased.
No, I think that's important. And I think also when we think about different aspects of our life, different things that we've done, there probably is somewhere that there's a creative component. And I know for me, I had forgotten, although we talked about it before, but I'd forgotten that I've been a makeup artist on the side for a number of years. And that involves some kind of creativity, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And for those of us that think, oh, I've never done anything creative in my life, right? Technically speaking, I am sure between the ages of 0 and 5, at some point, you played with something.
Yes.
Be it paint, be it clay, be it sand. I don't care what it is that you played with. Guess what? You created something in your mind. There was a world that you were playing with. That's creation. That's part of being creative. So hence why my belief, we are all creative.
I like that. I really do, because I think at some point in life, people have told me that someone in authority position, maybe it was a teacher, really kind of snubbed the person's creativity. Or you're not a good dancer, or you're not good at playing the piano. And then later in life, they find out they actually had a talent, but that person who had an opportunity to help them decided not to help them and to label them. And therefore, they could have been much further in their craft than they were, because they didn't get the support that they needed. So I know for me, with what I'm doing today, I just shared with you before we started the show that we now have our own online store. And that was, I just saw something on YouTube that said, because we have 100,000 subscribers, we were eligible to do this interaction between creating a store and having it on YouTube. So it took me 4 days, I think 5 phone calls to the store company. And I was just so excited, like t-shirts and this and that. Like, to me, that's creative, but it's also part of business. So the two go hand in hand.
And isn't that what business is too?
Yes.
It is something that didn't exist before, that we dreamed up and wanted to bring into life. Dr. Jacalyn, without your dreaming of this platform, we would not be here having this conversation today, because there wasn't somebody else that dreamed up this specific platform. You are the one that dreamed it up. And ta-da, we have a business from it at the moment. So it's all of life is creation. All of life is creative. We just need to dive into it and enjoy it more. So yes, I love the fact that you are creating both merchandise as well as the shows, as well as everything else. And we have a whole bunch of viewers and listeners that can enjoy it with us.
So true. It's so true. And I'd love to take credit for all of it, but I really can't. But I think the thing that's so interesting around the time that I met you is when I got that call from the radio station in New York, and they asked me to do an interview for 8 minutes. And then from there, I bought my own show, and then I bought my own television show, the airtime. And it's crazy because I never in a million years would have thought this is what I would be doing. I thought I'd be in corporate till the end of, till my retirement. So I did retire, which was great, but I never thought I'd be doing this. So again, thank you to you and to our team members across the world and to everybody who's watching. And I feel like, the wheel of life, the circle of happiness. I used that last night when I was teaching Setting Boundaries course. And I just thought to myself, I feel like this wheel is getting bigger and bigger, and it's really moving fast. Like it's not slowed down because it's so big. And it's because of all the people around the world who are participating, whether it's knowingly or unconsciously.
And that's what happens when we create things, right? It has the potential. Initially, when we had our very first conversation about you stepping out of corporate and doing something else, there was a whole bunch of different ideas. This was one of them, but it wasn't the one where you went, oh yeah, in 2025 on the day of, it is the 29th for me, I know it's the 28th for some of you guys, we will be standing doing this show at this time, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't what went into it. It was more of this is my intention. This is what I want life to feel like, to be like. And you have created it. Was it always easy? I'm sure not. Dr. Jacalyn, you'll have to enlighten us about the bumps along the road, because that's something that a lot of us, I think, especially when we look at TV shows, when we look at what other people are doing, we have a tendency to forget that they didn't start where we see them now. They started somewhere else. They started with a seed. It was something small, and it built. And as you mentioned, that wheel just keeps on gaining momentum. And the more people we draw into it, the more momentum it gets, right? Until it is really, really big. And this is but the beginning. We are still going, guys. Let's watch this space.
It's very true, because when I think about it, well, until we really got going, it's probably been 3 years. I think it was 2022 on YouTube when we started to take off. And 3 years is not that long. I was having a conversation with someone today, and I said that I was setting up this store. I didn't show it or anything, but I said I was setting it up. And the person said, why would anyone want to buy merchandise with your company name on it? And I said, don't you think that Nike, that you're wearing a shirt from some company, why are you wearing that? And he said, well, that's a good point. I said, it starts somewhere. And I said, so I would think it's going to start with me. Then it's going to start with our team members, like people who are proud to wear the brand. And, something I'll just show, which sounds, my phone cover is a little, it's not in the best condition, but on there this is the Solid Core. These are their parentheses. This is their branding, right? I don't get paid by Solid Core. Why do I have this on my phone? Because I believe in Solid Core. I just finished I set a new record doing a plank. So maybe 4 years ago, I was at 21 minutes. holding a plank. So now I broke it at 22 minutes. Then I went to 21, then 22. And then 2 days ago, I did 23. And I believe it's because of going to solid core for all these years. And the mindset that when your body starts to shake as you go into second stage muscle failure, your body's shaking, that how can you mentally will yourself to just focus on what you're doing? So the point is that I keep that on my phone. I had a different one before, and it's all worn out, right? You can see it's worn out. So they just came out with that and they put it on there. And why do I put it on there? Because it reminds me that solid core is my foundational rock. That when my mom was dying and I was taking the class and it's very dark in the class, sometimes I start to cry when you hear the music and I'd be like, get it together, get it together. So it's given me the ability to really mentally improve my strength mentally and physically. So I am an advocate for their brand. They didn't ask me to do it. They don't know that I'm doing it. Maybe they do now. But to me, I want to be aligned with that brand because it's made an impact on my life. So the point is, I hope that people want to be aligned with our brand and that it makes an impact on their life.
Yeah. And by all the subscribers that we are already having, I am sure that we are making I know we are making an impact in a whole bunch of lives on a daily basis in different ways, because that's what this platform stands for. Hope and inspiration and education. And what was the other one? Entertainment. Oh, yes.
That's right. That's right. And, something else that, for anybody out there who's watching, when I was teaching class last night, we had some business owners in there. And I always like to find out, because this is part of creativity, how are you marketing your business? And somebody will say to me, I'm strictly on TikTok. I'm strictly on Instagram. And I say to them, you know what, that's great. But what if they shut it down? There was talk that, TikTok was going to be shut down. What if something happens and you're no longer able to market yourself? You've got your followers there, but now they are not following you because you're not on there because they shut the platform down. You never know. So that's why I believe we need to be on as many platforms as possible, because we need to be taking charge of our destiny and not handcuffing ourselves to one platform. This platform, YouTube, which is amazing, YouTube changes their algorithm all the time. So if you have a YouTube channel and you're not hiring a team of people to do search engine optimization and do it correctly, you are missing out. So I know with myself, I think I've had 3 different companies who have been doing search engine optimization. And it turns out that as from 1 to 2 to 3, we've improved. But what I just had was an audit, and found out with the current audit that we are missing some things that could take us out to a whole different level of people, because YouTube is an algorithm. It's like it's not a person, but it's constantly changing, and they're changing it. So the creators have to stay on top of it. And I'm not a search engine optimization expert. I actually did take some training in it. It's so complex and so time consuming that we are now going to have with this after this audit, we're going to have 2 people full time just doing search engine optimization on the 2 channels. So the second channel, we don't have search engine optimization because it was cost prohibitive. It's very expensive every month to pay for this. But because we do have it, more people have found us and more people are on the platform and more people know about us. So it's a must-have. It is a must-have for anyone who is putting their business online. Now, that being said, and then I'll go over to you, I'm not having search engine optimization on Facebook, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. Facebook is now deleting videos after 30 days. So right there, if you're on Facebook and that's your mainstay and you've got your products and services and videos, they're taking them down after 30 days. They're condensing their space. And then Instagram, it's very short. And the way that it's organized, I don't think it's as easily identifiable to the viewer as YouTube with the playlists.
Yeah. And what I appreciate about our platform is the fact that we are streaming on so many different places, right? It's almost like, if you think about our platform as a physical space, this is like a strip mall. You have a whole bunch of different things, a whole bunch of different shops. And when you go to the mall, you look for parking once, and then you can walk wherever you want. You can look at everything that you want to see. It's nice and easy and convenient, right? Plus, most strip malls has doors from multiple sides, so you can enter it in any way you want to. So if you think about all the different social media platforms, you can enter our specific mall area from any different space, because we are in so many different places. Whereas when, as a business owner, we focus only in one space, well, it might be an alley down the street somewhere that may or may not have enough lighting, which makes it really difficult for people to find. So this platform took a while to build. Like a strip mall will take some time to build. It took some time to build, and it is still expanding and still growing. So if you were wondering about what you want to be doing with marketing, and no, Dr. Jacalyn is not paying me for this would be a great place.
Thank you. That is so nice of you. Thank you. The one thing I can say is that every step forward, there's always something else to do. And I'll give an example. So I already had a Twitter/X account under my name, and I didn't find that I really was engaging at all, because a lot of the things it just doesn't matter. So I took us off of Twitter a while ago. I would say over a year ago. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to put us back on Twitter, but as a USA Global TV and Radio. So I had to start a new account. So once I started that, I thought to myself, let me add that as a destination here on StreamYard. And it turns out that when I went to stream to it, that you have to get approval. And in order to get approval, you have to buy a premium membership. And then to buy a premium blah, 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 blah. So I had to start. So everything requires something else, if that makes any sense. And it's just like with the store integration. You know, I had to have 5 phone calls to the store company. And then I had to take the guy who's doing what's it called, search engine optimization, to keep our USA Global at the top on a search across the world. I had to talk to him about the integration. So he's to talk. So nothing is ever simple. It's not just it's one thing you just check off and it happens. But I love it because I've learned so much. And then another thing, and then we'll go back to you, is on the other side of my business, of being an author and a speaker and teaching courses, is that I found out how to do book marketing, so that all of the books have been #1 new release. I had to study that. And then I had to spend 15 hours doing it. So I want people to realize that you can pay people to do things, which I do, but I want to know how to do it first, so that I know if they're doing it right. And that's why sometimes I'll say to myself, something seems like it's off, because this should be happening as a result of this. And, you know, from college, if this, then that, right? And it doesn't make sense, because I have some knowledge of it. I don't have total knowledge. So anyway, what about in your work, in the work that you do with your clients? You have expertise in many areas. You've got accreditations in many areas. So how do you continue, when you think about creativity, what does your personal development or your professional development journey look like?
Ooh. So for me, it is really about integrating a whole bunch of different things. Because when you think about life in general, right, you have a whole bunch of different roles that you play. You have one or maybe more roles at work. You might have several roles at home. So you are both a brother or sister. If you are only child, well, then you are an only child, but you are still the child of parents. You might be a parent yourself. You might be single or in a relationship. All of those things are different elements, different aspects, different layers of our beingness. And for me, one of the things that I really love about my job is the fact that I get to continuously learn. I love learning. I love to learn new things. Like you, Dr. Jacalyn, I don't necessarily need to understand all of the things in order to get the thing done. But I do enjoy to understand the things and how it is that we have made them up. Because a lot of them are literally made up. If you think about business, right, the rules in business, well, the rules exist because we made them up. Any rules that's on the planet is there because we made them up. There's not a lot of rules that's there because we didn't make them up. For the most part, as human beings, we make most of them up. And understanding that, understanding how we see things, how we perceive things, the different models, the different ways of thinking, the different ways of looking at things, that to me is fascinating. So I learn from everything, whether it be a novel that somebody created a different world that they saw something different in, or whether it be a physical book around research and things that we've discovered in the natural world. To me, I like to put all of those bits and pieces together in all sorts of interesting different ways. And I also get to learn from the people I work with because they create their life and they create the space in which they are operating, and we get to explore all of that. And I get to see a little bit into their world and what they have created and how it looks like and how they're experiencing it. And also, if potentially, and I know sometimes we experience some things and, well, it sucks a bit. And then seeing how potentially we can look at it maybe a little bit different or interact with it differently in order for us to have a different experience of it and seeing how that change. So I literally like learning from everything, whether it is a new skill in painting. So some of you may or may not be aware that I enjoy both oil painting as well as water painting. They are such different mediums, and your brain needs to literally rewire itself almost in how you approach it. So being able to go through the process, experience the process, understand the process for myself, how I interpret it, and then see how maybe it might be applicable to other things. So that's all the ways in which I learn, other than, of course, all the formal ways in which I also learn through team coaching trainings and other coaching trainings that I also do, or other leadership development things as well. So Dr. Jacalyn, as you mentioned, and what I heard was the business gives me these opportunities and these things that I'm interested in so that I can make this thing grow. And then I go and learn them. So I do pretty much the same.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I was thinking, and this, I can't actually figure out from start to finish how it would work, but have you ever considered when you're working with a team or you're working with a leadership committee of having them paint something?
Ooh, wow, we haven't painted anything that I'm aware of. What we have done was, I'm not sure whether you are familiar with Lego play.
Legos?
Well, normal Legos, the stuff that's the bane of every parent's existence because they are horrible to step on when the kids leave them out, right? Those little Lego blocks. there's something specifically called Lego Play. So that's basically playing with Legos for adults. And there's a science behind it where you get blocks, and it's all sorts of random blocks that you can use as a group or as an individual to help us figure things out. And I've been part of that before, which is really fun. It's not physically painting, so you don't need to feel that you are any good at painting, because anybody can build Lego, right? And because the blocks are random, it's not like you get a specific set that's supposed to be something specific. It's literally random things that's in the little packet. So you get to make it what it is that you want it to make. It makes the meaning you want it to have. So that I have done before. And typically you start off with your own thing so that you can just experiment with it a little bit. And then you start building together as a group or as a team, which is so much fun. Plus, we get to see how other people think about it, how they experience it. And a different approach that we've taken, also, again, not quite the painting approach, was having a photo of a scene. And everybody could imagine themselves in any space of the photo. So if you think about a swimming pool, for instance, right? You've got your swimming pool, you've got a diving board, you might have some lounge chairs on the side, you might have an entertainment area, you might have a place where you can go and get dressed. You have the shallow end of the pool, you have the deep end of the pool. Now, you and your team imagine yourselves as to where you would place yourself as an individual around the pool. So some people might be in the pool, some people might be outside of the pool. And depending on the question that you ask before placing yourself at the pool, it might change your position. So playing with things like that can also give us insights about how others might be experiencing things. And to take the pool example, somebody might put themselves in the deep end of the pool and they might really enjoy it. They love being in the thick of things. Another person might put themselves in the deep end of the pool and they'll be going like, no, I'm overwhelmed. To me, it's just too much. So even when we space ourselves in the same position, it might have different meanings depending on how we are experiencing it. So that exercise, because it is an exercise, was very revealing to me as well as the team members that we did it with, to see how each of us thought about what it is that was going on within that space. So those are creative, a little bit weird and different ways of interacting with others while we are still also in a very strict corporate workspace, which, hey, can't we make that more fun? Dr. Jacalyn, would you have stayed longer in corporate if it was more fun?
You know, that's an interesting question. I think for me, because what I was doing with my work, I traveled all over and I stayed at, 5-star places, and that part was really fun. But what ended up not being as much fun was that my body didn't seem to be enjoying what I was doing. And that was really the call to action, that it's time to do something else. And I think also I got burnout, really. I got burnout doing the same thing for so long. And it's amazing to me because many of my colleagues and peers, they're still there doing it. So they must have the passion for it. And if I had a passion for that, I wouldn't be here doing this. So, that's something else that I just want to share with our audience. If I didn't get that phone call from Business Talk Radio about doing that 8-minute interview, then none of this would be happening today. And opportunities present themselves to us And it's up to us to take a chance and say, you know what, I will do this or I will do that. And I know many times people, they think about things for a long time, and I admire that. I'm not that kind of person. And I definitely have been involved in things that I wish I wasn't from a business perspective. And I definitely have had things that I've really enjoyed. But if I hadn't put myself out there, I wouldn't know what works and what doesn't work.
I think that is also very important, is the one, taking the opportunities when they are presented, right? And understanding what the impact of those might be would be helpful. We don't always. I mean, we as I mentioned earlier in the show, when we had our very first conversation, we didn't know we're going to be here today, right, with this. That it was part of a dream, potentially having something like this, but not this exact thing, right? So yes, there's some intention that we might have. So understanding what that is, what is entailed in it, and then also, so taking the step and not sitting and wondering about it and then, well, thinking, oh yeah, we didn't make a choice. Well, actually you did, because you chose not to do anything, which that's a choice. So understanding which choices we are making, and then also, I think it's around that creating. What is it that you are actively deciding on creating? And remember, you are continuously creating. So whether you are active in your decision making and going, this is what I'm going for, or whether you are sitting on the couch and saying, oh no, life's just happening to me, you're creating that too, because it's a choice.
Right. That's right. I think it's about an energy exchange. And I talked about this last night when I was teaching my course. What I said to the people who were attending, I said, when I left home to come here and I arrived, I sat in the car so I could clear my energy. So I could clear my energy so that my mind could be focused specifically on setting boundaries and asking permission and showing up as the best version of myself. So I think sometimes we're in such a rush to run from one thing to the other thing, and we're carrying all of this energy with us that might not be serving us. So to me, for me to be in my creative body and mind, I really have to clear the energy and get rid of any negativity or anything that I've been involved with on that day up until that point. And then once I've cleared the energy and I'm focused, I go head in. I just dive into it. And that's how I can make things happen, because I think to myself, again, with the new store that we have, what's it going to take to get the store up and running? What are people going to be interested in buying? What are the price ranges? Where in the world is it going to be shipped to? And so all these things require focus. And so if I was bringing something into this project with me, that might cause me to miss some element of this project, because I was bogged down with negative energy from something else. So I think we should clear the energy before we attempt to do something, so that we really can be sitting in our creative genius.
I love that. It reminds me of I'm not sure if you are familiar with the above the line, below the line mental model, let's call it that, where when we are operating below the line, we are operating from stress, from that not great energy space. When we are operating above the line, we are operating from a creative space. Now, typically, if we are in a stress space, we have a tendency to sort of turn in. We want to protect ourselves, right? And we can't be very creative when we want to protect ourselves. The only creative things that we can think about is how to protect ourselves, maybe better, right? That's about as creative as we get. Whereas when we are above the line, it's almost like it's an open energy. We can let more things in, which means the universe and creation, God, whatever words or names that you want to give it, can actually access. We can access it and it can access us. so that we can be more creative because we are open. And that is something that I think, Dr. Jacalyn, you were really, to me, referring to when you think about, well, when I think about energy and the energy that I'm in, if I'm in a good energetic space, I am open. I am more receptive to possibilities and options and all sorts of creative things that can happen. If I am not in such a great space and my energy space is a lot lower, then the likelihood of me being able to access all of these great juicy things significantly reduced. And understanding how that impacts us, so important. Whether you are wanting to paint a painting, have a workshop like you did, Dr. Jacalyn, or just be as a leader in your team. Noticing your own energy is so important because you bring that with you into that space. So understand that it will also influence that space. It's a little bit like walking into a room and there's a party that you didn't know about, right? You can feel it. Or maybe there was a fight that you didn't know about. You can feel that too. It's the energy in the space that the people bring. So what sort of energy is it that you want to be bringing to the next space that you are going into?
Absolutely. Very well stated. Thank you. And of course, we're over time as it is, but I'll just add one thing to that, which is in the course that I teach, Setting Boundaries and Asking Permission, what I'll say to people is when your energy level isn't at a high level, you can't be listening and totally present because you're way down with the negative energy. And the other person is going to feel it and maybe take offense because you are in an emotionally charged state. And when you're in an emotionally charged state, you may be triggered by something that the person says. So what I shared last night and what I share every time I teach the class is draw a boundary for yourself. You know, Mariska, I'd love to chat with you about that right now, but I'm not having such a great day energy-wise, and I don't want to push that over to you. So would it be okay if you and I had a conversation in about 3 hours? That kind of thing.
And I don't know about the rest of the audience, but to me, that feels both respectful to me as a human, as well as the interaction that we will then be having. Because now I know that you actually want to have a good conversation with me and not just dump everything that happened during the day. Like, oh yeah, I want to have a conversation like that. I don't want to be a dumping place. So it is, I know that a lot of people, me included, sometimes forget about that portion about boundaries. It's not only there for being able to, whatever the beliefs are that we have about boundaries, it is also to be respectful of each other, of each other's spaces and how we interact. We can make it something that's joyful and creative. We just need to choose that.
It's a choice, exactly. And I'll end with this, which I have to thank you and applaud you because this show is typically for me on a Monday night, for you on a Tuesday morning. And I shared with you that this particular Monday, I was not in my studio and there were people in the house. And so I could have done the show, but I knew that I wouldn't be in the right frame of mind because I'd be concerned about noise. I'd be concerned I'm not in my studio. It's not gonna be the right sound. And so I reached out to you and said, hey, would you mind? And I felt badly doing it because it's not the first time I've done it. And I thought, I don't want to put you off, but I know if I do it, it's not probably fair to you because I'm not in the right space, if that makes sense. And so you were open to it. And hopefully you took that as a positive thing. And here we are going overtime like we always do because we just enjoy it so much. So question for you, where in Australia are you? Because I know there's 3 time zones and there's a wonderful person that I'd love to have join us on this platform, but I don't know to coordinate which zone you're in.
Okay, so I'm on the Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne time zone, which is Australian Eastern.
Okay, Australian Eastern. And then there are two others, right?
Yes. So we also have Central and then we have West. So Perth would be West. That's about 3 hours difference from where I am. And then I think there's another one actually, because Brisbane is half an hour, depending on whether it's summer or winter. They do a little bit of a half an hour weird thing from time to time. I'm still getting used to all the time zones too.
Well, we'll see if we can coordinate it. So we typically don't have guests on the show only because on the earlier show, we have another episode of A Woman's Prerogative with Caroline Heward and the good Reverend Lydia Fugiris. But that's at 2:00 Eastern time, which is 7:00 BST. So with us, with the difference, we can only have guests really who are in Australia. And it doesn't seem like anywhere in Australia, just Eastern time. Is that right?
Well, the guys that is Western time, it's going to be really early for them. New Zealand can still work because it is now 11:30 for New Zealand. So they are 2 hours more towards the awake time of the day. So New Zealand can work, Australian Eastern can work, Central might work for this time of day. Alternatively, we will need to make it later for you, which would be most probably a little bit more convenient for them. But then again, we want to have you nice and bushy-tailed and not sleeping.
Well, we will work on it and see. Before we close out, I just want to show people what I had shown you. So this is the first time that we're actually putting this on the air, but we have our own logo merchandise, which can be shipped everywhere in the world except for 4 countries. And having put this together, by the end of tonight, the ones that are black with the logo will be white, so be able to see it. But we've got all kinds of merchandise and accessories, and would love for people around the world to start repping our brands. We've been doing this actively for now 3 years, really, from 2022. We started in 2021, but we now have our own entire line of logo merchandise that is available for people. And so hopefully we will be able to take our global community to another level where we're all repping USA Global TV and Radio. So there you go. We'll be dropping the link so that people can go there, but it is USA Global TV Radio shop.myspreadshop.com. So there's that. I'm super excited about that. And Mariska, what would you like to leave our audience with today? And by the way, I think you're doing your talking heads tomorrow.
Next week.
Okay. I can't keep it all straight.
Yes, I'm trying to think. No, tomorrow is we're still in May. So we did May. We need to do June, which is
June. Okay, so you will not be seeing
the week after that
heads tomorrow, which is really Friday if you're in Australia. Well, if you're in Australia, then you know when it is, but for our people here outside of Australia. So what would you like to leave people with? Maybe some words of wisdom about creativity, and then how people can contact you.
Well, I will leave you with a question. And the question is, how do you want to be creating more consciously in your life? And this might be life in general. This might be in your career. This might be a thing that you do. So being creative with painting, drawing, writing, journaling, whatever it might be, drawing in the sand, making sandcastles. Or it might be something that you want to create in your life in the sense of start a business, or maybe step into the next space of your career. Whatever it is, what is it that you want to be creating consciously in your life? And then how to get hold of me, you can do so via my email, which is Mariska, Mariska, @journey2discover.com, Or alternatively, you can also find me on LinkedIn. And there, of course, you can send me a message and we can start our conversation. Whether you are a inspired person that wants to start your leadership journey, or whether you are already in leadership and you want to up your game. Either one of those would work. And if you are also not sure about leadership at all, you can also contact me and we can start a conversation around that. And that's me, Dr. Jacalyn. Ooh, and there's my LinkedIn. So you guys can see that you found the right me. Yes, there's quite a few Mariskas, and I think there's quite a few Mariska Du Preez, actually. So that's me, not the other ones.
Meanwhile, I'm having a whole conversation here and I'm on mute, so I apologize. So please do connect with Mariska here on LinkedIn. And I just have a comment I want to make about LinkedIn quickly. I always say we're closing out, but I'm still talking. What I want to say about LinkedIn is for people who are creatives, I've seen this happen time and time again. You are an actor, you're a singer, you're a painter, whatever it is you are, but you're not on LinkedIn. Okay, I don't understand why people are not taking advantage of this incredible opportunity. Because let's say you're a painter, you're an artist, you can reach other businesses, other galleries, other humans who like art by being on LinkedIn. It's a legitimate platform. It's there for the convenience of doing business. So please do create your own profile on LinkedIn so that you can promote your work. Even if you're a creator, creators can be on LinkedIn like anyone else. It's important. I always research people when they book in to be a guest. The first place I go is LinkedIn. And when they're not on LinkedIn, I just say to myself, what an opportunity that you're missing. And I understand people are crazy about TikTok and they're crazy about Instagram because they're able to monetize it. I get that. But having a business presence, it just happened yesterday with one of the people in the classes that I taught. This person's a business owner, not on LinkedIn. So please do establish yourself on LinkedIn. Go on any of the platforms that you want, but let people be able to find you as a legitimate person on LinkedIn so that you can connect and do business. Whereas the other platforms might be more about advertising your products and services. Let people see who you are as a business owner. That's my takeaway for the day.
That's a great one. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. By the way, if you haven't done so, we would love for you to join our community on YouTube. We're on many, many platforms. We love YouTube because we get legitimate information about who's watching, where they're watching, how long they're watching. There's a QR code right here on the screen right now. All you have to do is open up your device, hold the camera up to it, and then it will populate and take you to our first YouTube channel. And then just click subscribe, hit the bell, because we have over 60 different shows and there'll be something for somebody, I'm sure. We have a brand new show coming out in French. Reverend Lydia Fugiris is going to be our first French-speaking TV show host, and it's a show about spirituality and maybe people who have been lost along the way and how they can get reacclimated and re in touch. So it's called Whispers of Healing, but it's going to be in French. So the title will be in French and it'll be in English. So look forward to that. And again, I'm just going to put this up for another second in case you missed it. Please join us. We have over 130,000 subscribers between our two YouTube channels, and across the other platforms, I can't even tell you because we have distributors distributing content. So if you'd like to join our team, we'd love to have you. We're all about people sharing their story. We don't charge for you to be interviewed. So please go to the website and sign up. It's usaglobaltv.com. All right, with that being said, my dear friend, we're going to close out today. We just have two more announcements, which is I will be teaching setting boundaries and asking permission in London, England, as the guest of the British School of Excellence. And you are welcome to join us. If you are in London, you are more than welcome to join us for the course, along with the students that have signed up for Philip's program, which is the London experience, which is amazing. And then also, we're going to be teaching setting boundaries online June the 4th. And you can sign up as well. Just go and you can click on Venmo. You get some more information there. And that's open to everybody in the world, because if you want to have better connections, better conversations, deeper relationships, learn how to set boundaries and ask permission. Amen. That's all I have to say. Okay. Thank you for listening. We're going over to our sponsors, and then we will be back with our next show. Have a beautiful day, Mariska. Bye, everyone.
You too. Bye.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who was going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio. USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, proudly presents Just the Thing for Your Ring, introducing the patented Ring Thing. Your premium personal ring holder to keep your ring safe, nearby, and avoid loss.
The Ring Thing just got smarter. Add your logo and an NFC tag that opens to your website with one tap. Waterproof, inner padding, and now a forever business card.
Just the thing for your ring. Scan the QR code seen here to learn more about Ring Thing or place your order. Follow Ring Thing on Instagram at ring_thing_ or go to our website ringthing.com.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents The Corner Bookstore, hosted by Red O'Loughlin. Step into a world where every story inspires. These pages come to life through the voices of authors from around the globe. Written by our global community of TV show hosts and best-selling authors, these works span genres, generations, and geographies, united by the power of storytelling. Discover your next favorite book and meet the minds behind the work. Thursdays, only on USA Global TV and Radio. In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers, discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by executive producer and director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.